it because he had a couple of 7-inning games.
Right.
I am texting his coach right now. I can find that out.
Where do you play JUCO?
Eastern Oklahoma State. Well, actually, several players from Oral Roberts played with him.
Yeah.
So they all, and then he also went to high school with like 2 other players from Oral
Is
Roberts.
that in Miami, Oklahoma?
No, it's outside of Tulsa in Wilburton.
Okay. Those directional Oklahoma schools get me confused sometimes.
Yeah. I'm told there was like 1 stoplight in the town and like.
And you had to go 20 minutes to get pancakes, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, see you later.
Have a good night. I have a couple left. Yep, you have one?
Thank you.
Yep. I guess I never know if I have time to go talk to players in the field, so. Yeah. I like there's some games the losing team goes first.
In the elimination game, we wait till the game's over.
Oh, okay.
Because typically we would go with losing team or what we would win.
They take their time. Yeah. Makes sense.
There's the winning team's like, we gotta play again, and they're ready to get out. So we try to be flexible.
Bye, Margaret.
Coach and crews are on the way, waiting on the other 2 coaches.
Okay. Well, since we don't have Coach Sarlos here to remind you, as a courtesy to your fellow media members, as well as the coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Kirk gave me that instructions earlier tonight. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during this press conference, and recording the press conference video on cell phones is prohibited. And if you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raised hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first and take questions from Zoom as time permits. You notice we're having LSU first. Go get them. Team up. Okay, once again, congratulations, Coach. Give us an overview, please.
Yeah, great game, great night for our program. Starts and ends on the mound, winning baseball, and two big left-handers here executed at a really, really high level. Proud of Nate. Maybe a surprise, from a starter, but not a surprise performance. Every game he's pitched in this year, I think we've only lost one time that he's pitched the entire year, and I look for those things. He did a great job executing, and then, Riley at this point is probably one of the most experienced pitchers of pitching in this ballpark and having success. Did his deal. Great performance by Dylan at the top of the lineup. We did just enough against, in my opinion, one of the two best pitching staffs in college baseball. And to beat them 4 times this year is a great accomplishment for us because of the respect that I have for Tony and how well they recruit and the Tennessee program. So wrap that one up and on to tomorrow.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for the student athletes first, and we'll go back here first. I saw your hand.
This one's for Dylan. Miguel Paredes Reyes.
Name and affiliation.
LSU Tiger TV. Dylan, you were 0-for-3 yesterday. You just barely missed out on a homer earlier in this game. How did it feel like to finally hit that homer in the 8th inning?
It felt good. It was pushing. Some of the wind was pushing some balls back into play today, but it was good to kind of just get one out at the right moment and put us up a couple more runs in the 9th to just extend the lead. So it felt good. Just a new day, and you went out there and do what I do.
Go for Leah here.
Leah Van, Baton Rouge Advocate. Nate, you told me the other day that you were here watching your friend David pitch for Oklahoma last year. So what was kind of your reaction today when you got the start on the mound at the College World Series?
It was cool. About it. Simple. I can't remember what he did, but I know he dominated his, so I had to at least dominate today, or he'd have the upper hand, brag about it. So I don't know. I think he punched out like 15. Yeah.
Okay, over here in the middle.
Grant Sastre in the Valley Shook. I know you and Riley are roommates. What do you guys do during when you guys have time off from baseball?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah,
literally
chill.
nothing.
Yeah. Maybe watch some movies. That's about it.
Well, that doesn't say much. Back here. No, up here. Yeah.
Go 247. Just talk us through. Obviously you guys go 9 innings and shut them out. It is a very good offense that you guys faced today. Just I guess start with Nate and then Riley. Just what was working for you guys on the mound tonight?
The changeup was really working with for me. I know with the wind blowing in and how hard it is to hit a ball out of here. On a normal day, I was just like I'd get a 2-0 changeup call and I'd just throw it down the middle and say let him put it in play because you've seen some balls hit today that were probably 108 off the bat and they were cut at the warning track. So I just pitched with confidence, had confidence in my defense behind me.
Yeah, the big park definitely played in my confidence, just be able to fill up the zone and trust my pitches for the weak contact. And even if they got into it, it's really hard to hit it out of the park. So, yeah, I was throwing all 4 pitches and, yeah, just trust my defense.
Leah.
Riley, you faced a tough situation there. I can't remember which inning, when the base is loaded and you got that weak ground out to first. What was going through your mind and what was kind of your game plan in that moment?
Never a doubt, really. I knew I can get out of that. I've been in that situation before. And I just know to fill up the zone and trust my defense behind me. That's what happened, and I got out of it.
Okay, back over here. No.
Jack DeLongshot with foul pole for both of you guys. Worked into a little bit of a jam in the 5th and the 7th inning. Can you speak to Alex Milazzo? To me, maybe the play of the game. He blocked up a ball in the dirt in the 5th and the 7th for both of you. That really saved the run. You talked about trust, maybe the trust in him and Travinsky, obviously, behind the plate. But how huge is it to have those guys as your backstop?
Jack, you said both. They got 3 up here. Which ones? Okay, the pitchers. Nate, you start. Nate, you start.
Ninth inning.
Yeah, it feels good to have somebody back there that you can trust. Throw an 0-2 pitch, you don't want to leave it too over the plate, so sometimes you got to bounce it. And with him back there, or both of them, I have full trust in them.
Riley?
Yeah, it's just a confidence thing. And when I need to get the ball down in the zone, I just trust that if I spike it, he's a wall back there, or both of them's a wall. And so, I can execute pitches better.
Okay, we got one up here. Do you still? No, did you have one? Okay. Go to Leah here, then we'll go to Matt.
Nate, when exactly did you find out you were starting today, and what was your reaction?
Coach texted me at 8:56. I didn't respond until 11:10. I was sleeping in a little bit, so I think I just texted him, I'll give it all I got.
Yeah, I can confirm the time lapse.
Okay, Matt.
Matt Tallery, World Baseball Network. Dylan, what was just the composure you had at the plate today? 2 for 4 day, let alone leading off the game with a big walk that sparked Peloso's RBI single for the first run of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing the ball pretty good today. It's that's a great pitcher on the mound today. He's going to be a big leaguer for a long time, I believe, in the future. So, but I mean, I had a confidence in myself, and I was going up there and, giving it my best shot. And, just to draw the walk, I mean, I have confidence in all the guys behind me. So, I feel like if I get on base, those guys are going to score me at any point. So, just, my mental mindset thing is just, go up there and giving it my best shot. And it's a new at-bat every single time.
We'll go to Grant here.
This is a question for Nate. I'm aware that you were a starter at your junior college back in Oklahoma. How much does that prepare you for this moment right now?
It prepared me a lot. My first year, I came out of the pen, which was the first time in my career. High school, I started all 4 years. Got to junior college, and we had 3 pitchers topping out at 100, and they all started, so there was me. So I learned how to pitch out of the stretch, and then the second year I took over because they all left, got picked up or drafted. And that really helped me figure out how to throw even the changeup. I didn't throw a changeup in high school, so really the last year helped me with the changeup. And then I'd say today the changeup is probably what helped me the most.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, Dylan, just towards the end of this game, do you guys feel like you kind of found, a little bit of something offensively? I mean, it looked like just you guys were able to kind of get a little bit more consistency at the plate, I guess.
Yeah, I think all around we had good at-bats, really. Sticking to our plan. We weren't really chasing as much, but, I think towards the end we were definitely stringing some good ABs together, and, we were able to scratch a few more runs. So that was definitely good and, helped these guys out a lot.
Okay, Matt, this will be okay. Well, that'll do it for the players. Thank you, guys, and get ready for tomorrow. You will be the hardest in the water.
Gold and white. Gold and white.
All white?
Gold and white.
Okay, that's good. Okay, we'll start with Leah.
I know you've said that Nate pitches in a lot of games that y'all win in, but what else went into giving him the start today? And then were there ever any thoughts about taking him out earlier?
Trust in the competitor. And this is a big deal if you haven't been here before. I think our team's handled it great, honestly. And I knew he would handle it well. I knew he would throw strikes. Saw some things in the matchup that I liked. Saw some things in previous games here just throughout the tournament that I liked, that I thought he could be effective. The thought really was 3 innings, 60 pitches. My initial target was 12 hitters. And, he obviously accomplished a lot more than that.
Okay, back here.
Jay, Will Hunter from The Advocate here in the back. Like you said, 3 innings, 60 pitches. All of a sudden, you're in the 5th. He's still going, and you kind of have a leverage situation there. You went out to the mound and decided to keep him in the game. What went into that call there, and what did you tell him in that moment?
Yeah, I just wanted to check on him in terms of the fatigue level and then the heartbeat level. And you can see he doesn't get too wound up or rattled over anything. and just felt like he could make a pitch to, I believe Inslee was up at that time, and he did. He got him off the end of the barrel for the fly ball to right field, and just trust level, and felt like he had enough in the tank. I mean, he'd obviously been throwing well, and then another big thing was he went out and got another full inning after that, and that really shortened the game, which, when you're in this side of the bracket, you need that. And, if you're going to have a chance to do something, you need a performance like Nate gave us tonight. I'm really proud of him.
Okay, we've got Mike here.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. In February, you said the guys that were playing in March may be different than the guys that were playing in June. You just alluded to it. How big is it to have somebody step up into a role that maybe they hadn't previously shown they could do something?
Yeah, it's really big. And this tournament, you always find one or two of those. I just don't see it as like a Cinderella thing because he's one of the most important parts of our pitching staff. I mean, he was down with a sore shoulder beginning of conference, and that was right through Arkansas, Tennessee. I did not feel very comfortable about that because he was a huge part of it. And then there was a little bit of working his way back. The pitchability, lended you to believe he could start. I think it was a key outing was when we extended him at the SEC tournament against South Carolina, and we got him to 63 or 64 pitches. Had a good outing in a regional against Oregon State, and then fortunately in the Super Regional we won in 2 games. But he was kind of that piece that was going to be a part of a game 3 if we needed it. So super job tonight, and maybe that time off allowed him to do what he did tonight.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Glenn West, Go 247. Do you feel like the offense really started to find itself a little bit here at the end of this game after, I guess, a couple rough innings? Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, these guys have played so good for so many games this season and set a standard of scoring runs and hits and on-base percentage and slugging that when you run into this park with the wind blowing in, shadows, and then Drew Beam, you heard the best hitter in college baseball call him a major leaguer. And then that staff we saw last night that we'll see the next 2 days, not going to be easy. You're going to have to win 5-0. And the game changes a little bit in that regard. And I thought they kept with it. I didn't feel like we got discouraged. I didn't feel like we stopped competing, and that was just enough. That second run was big where we got the leadoff double by Trey. Gavin laid down a nice drag to move him over, and they threw it away. It gave us a little bit of breathing room. Then we strung together some good at-bats. Again, that's off Seth Halverson, who's throwing 100 miles an hour. You're not going to score 10 in this environment. And so I'm proud of the way we kind of grinded it out, and then the 2 pitchers did a great job to make that just enough.
Okay, right here. Yep.
Miguel Paredes Reyes, LSU Tiger TV. Coach, at first you had Pearson and Money in the pen. What made you change your mind and go with Cooper instead?
Well, I didn't have Pearson in the pen because he was playing left field. That's okay. Blake had been throwing the ball really, really well. He was definitely part of the plan tonight. I think I didn't feel like they were seeing Nate well, and I think Riley is about as comparable and close to Nate as possible. And I wanted to stay with that look because they were in between. And, when you're pressing a little bit, when you're in an elimination game and you're trying to chase runs late, he's the type of pitcher that if you give him an inch, he can take a mile, and he did what he did tonight.
Okay, Mike.
Just Trey Morgan, kind of what's he been to this team over the last 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, phenomenal. He's playing his best ball. I mean, I know he's had a great career, so I don't want to minimize the impact. But he's playing his best baseball right now, and it's just one of those guys when you need him the most, you get the most. And he's one of those guys that you could throw on a big league diamond right now, full stadium, and he could go out there and give you 3 or 4 quality at bats, and that's what he's doing for us. Obviously, playing exceptional first base, but yeah, the NCAA tournament, he's been spectacular.
Okay, any more questions for Jay? You got one in the back.
Jay, you alluded to this, of course, that getting out of the loser's bracket, but just the number of games that you have to have guys go deep. And so now that Nate has done that and ate up so many innings, how do you feel about what you have left in the pitching staff for the next 2 days, potentially, when you go up against Wake Forest?
Yeah, I feel great about it. And the reason I feel great about it is because of the offense that I just alluded to, because Paul has been Paul and so astronomically out of this world good. We've had a pretty good year from the mound, but because of some of the injuries and because of 2 speed bumps through the best conference in the country, there's this thought that we don't have a great pitching staff. I think we have a great pitching staff, and we have plenty of guys to execute in a way that can give us a chance to be successful. Feel great about it.
Okay, Mike, this will be our last question for Jay.
Yeah, what do you take away from that first game against Wake that you might be able to capitalize on tomorrow?
Yeah, they're legit. Going to have to go back and look at it again. When I saw this side of the bracket, and all 8 teams here are amazing. I said that before the tournament. Of the 3 times I've been here, this is the best field. There's the most good players and good pitchers of the times I've been in the College World Series. They are certainly part of that. I thought Hartle threw an outstanding game. I thought their pen was good. They have more guys that they can go to. Offense, they have their way, and they do their thing really, really well. So wouldn't want to be playing anybody else. I feel like the 4 best teams in the country are the 4 best teams still playing in Omaha right now.
Okay, Jay, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. You bet.
Yes, sir. I'm going to make you wear that shirt again for good luck.
No. I want to remind you that Hammond Communications posts a recording of these news conferences in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Tony, give us an overview, please.
We didn't play very well tonight. LSU did. Both teams made mistakes, but they capitalized. So ultimately, that's on my shoulders, whether it's in the middle of the game or pre-game, for our guys to play better. But this thing's already over with, and in my mind, in the past, the game I'll choose to remember this team by was yesterday. It was the last great moment we had together, and it was also a game that was very representative of how the season went. Started out slow, a lot of struggles in there, a lot of frustration, but guys overcoming that and working together, coming together to make sure we have success, and that's what occurred. So that's what I'll remember it by. And as far as the whole team goes, much was made about preseason rankings with this particular group. I think guys like Drew and others helped kind of get our program to a new category. And no disrespect to any writers or anything like that. We certainly had a lot of talent, but I didn't think we deserved to be where we were at the beginning of the season, and I let them know that. Just a lot of new faces, a lot of things that we had to replace, and we did that by the end of the year, in my opinion. I know we won't be one of the last 2 teams standing because number 2 was our highest preseason ranking, but we kind of challenged these guys to actually become that. And, maybe we are, at least top 5 or somewhere in that category. Again, no disrespect to anybody else. So that's what I remember this team for. And our program needs to get better, but this was a group that helped our program improve, no question, and did some things that others have never done.
Okay, we'll open up for questions for the student athletes now. Again, raise your hand. Give us your name and affiliation and to whom you're asking the question. We'll start here with you.
Ryan Schumpert, Rocky Top Insider. Drew, just what will you remember the most about this season and this team?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I'll remember the most is probably the tough times we had and just the hills we had to climb. I mean, this season starts not just in February. It starts back in August when we got on campus in the fall. I mean, it's a grind. You go through so much with your teammates and your coaches, and you figure things out, then things don't work, and you figure out something else. And I think just all those trials and tribulations that were thrown at us and that we had to fight through as the season went on, that's just the things you remember because
you just push through it with your brothers, the guys beside you, the coaches beside you, and that's just the memorable parts. Is the winning's great, but making a bond and making like a family with the guys beside you is the part that you come out on top with.
Okay, we'll go up here.
Jack Foster, Rockets Up Insider. Drew, just sophomore year, how do you think you improved in year two?
Yeah, I mean, we attacked the off season. Obviously, you want to be better every year. Just try to be more precise. Try to take care of my body a little more than I did last year. Really tried to step into being more of a leader on the team. Showing the right ways for guys like AJ coming in, a freshman. He's stepped up in a big role, and it's just been fun seeing guys like that. But I feel like just filling in my role as a guy on this team that can influence others, and I think that's just the biggest thing I've taken away this year.
Okay, next question for. You have somebody. Okay, back to Brian.
AJ, just how were you able to handle the emotions in kind of your first big leverage postseason moment, and what did you have working for you?
Yeah, I thought everything was working pretty well. It was a short warm-up, but just going out there, just trying to breathe and bring myself down to normal heart rate and stuff like that. Just really focused on breathing, and me and Cal, and it kind of all just worked out.
Okay, go right here.
Wes Rucker with 24/7 Sports. Drew, y'all have had so many times this year where you came back late. You're able to kind of keep fighting, make it happen. What did that help the mood at all throughout the game when things didn't start the way you wanted, and why did it not maybe happen this time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good ball club over there. They've got a good team, but yeah, I mean, it was never out of reach. It just it didn't happen today. It's baseball. It's just the way the tree falls sometimes, and so I don't think anybody ever had any doubt. I mean, I think we were just going out there playing the game we all love, and it just didn't happen for us today.
Okay, any more questions for the student athletes? Guys, you had a great season. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Now we'll open it up for questions to Tony. Again, raise your hand and we'll get to you, and we'll start with Kendall.
To do in baseball, Tony, just from the dugout perspective, what were you seeing from Ackenhausen that he was just unable to let you guys kind of get in a groove offensively?
His stuff has always been difficult to hit. Usually where it's kind of, at least, and he's not on my team, so I'm going off a little bit of video, a little bit of research. Where it's kind of gone awry for him is with command. And he had excellent command at the start of the game. And then as the game waned on a little bit, there were some mistakes he made out of the zone, whether it be hit by pitch or something like that. But then he kind of, kept his composure and regathered and did well. And then it takes two to tango. We like I said, we didn't capitalize on mistakes as well as they did. We kind of had it down. He got in on lefties and then got righties to kind of overswing a little bit. So it kind of depends on which side of the deal you're talking there. And, you could look at game plan, or you could just look at a guy who had a good opportunity and really took advantage of it. Wasn't going to be an easy day to score runs, and nothing to show for it. And for our team, a lot of times when it was tough out of the gate, we just needed one thing to happen, and then it kind of came, not necessarily like an avalanche. And who knows, maybe we get that one little moment. Things are different, but we did not.
Okay, go up here to Ryan.
Do you feel like you guys pressed offensively at all as the game went on?
I don't think so. I think there was more frustration at times than we've had as of late. Maybe a word I can't say up here or two like that. But that was just because guys were trying, and it was a tight game. So each pitch you could feel a little bit. But, I mean, it's certainly in pregame and at the start of the game, there wasn't moments of tension. When I referenced mistakes, it was that they really made us pay on walks and then, defensive mistakes. And even when we don't feel that bond, I mean, everything was all good. And, we make a mistake later and you knew the guy was going to come up to the plate. I was just dying somebody would be on base for him because you knew he was going to respond. That's just what he does.
Okay, we'll go here to Jack.
Yeah, Tony, I know you mentioned yesterday's game is what the game you'll choose to remember this team by, but what do you want this team to be remembered for on the grand scheme?
Kind of what you fantasize being if you claim to be a competitor or if you compete at all, is that you'll get after it no matter what. And when you get knocked down, you'll get back up. And when you get knocked down again, you'll get up even quicker, and so on and so forth. So I think it was a competitive group. They can hang their hat on the fact that, we talked about perspective. There's a variety of tradition within each program. And it takes a lot in our league to be able to brag about tradition. But for us in particular, we wanted to get to a regional, and then we wanted to have a roster that was really athletic that you guys would be excited to write about. And, COVID's whatever. And then we wanted to get here, and we didn't win any games. And then we wanted to get here again and win a game, and this group did it. And, I skipped a year, but boys that were a part of 22, give it a couple years, and you'll get yours. No national championship, but pretty special group that will be remembered by everybody in this room for a lot of stuff. Love them or hate them. I love them.
Okay, here at the end.
Tony, you said earlier the program needs to get better. I'm just curious where you see that being needed, and also, as you said, getting here, winning a game. Do you feel like you've advanced the trajectory of the program this season?
I think so. I mean, you need to get here and you need to feel it out. It doesn't mean like Coastal Carolina can't come here and win a national championship. But you got to get used to the itinerary, the media attention, the stage, and things will be passed down by guys. I mean, our guy, we had some tough dudes on that 21 team, and they kind of locked up a little bit that first game. We also faced a guy named Abbott. I wasn't too happy when I saw that video when we found out who we were going to face. But you got to learn how to deal with rankings and expectations, and then people start looking forward to playing you as opposed to, maybe sleeping on you a little bit, or, there's a variety of circumstances. And we want our stadium to get bigger. We want our crowds to keep getting bigger and rowdier. We want our roster to be as competitive as anybody's. Of course, that's going to kind of come and go a little bit, but just to be able to handle things that come with shooting for a national championship every year.
Okay, back up here to Ryan.
Just wanted to get your vantage point on two plays. The first being Maui's double and holding Cal up at third, and then the following half inning on the bunt single that Zane threw in the right field.
Yeah, I mean, Coach E had a difficult challenge yesterday because there's one play where you got to just send the guy and make them play catch, and the wind keeps pulling the ball in and they do it. And then he's got to send the other guy, and Zane kind of got his, gosh, love him, he kind of got his feet tangled up a little bit and made it closer than maybe it should have, and then you get another difficult decision there. And normally with 2 outs and a double, you got to, but it wasn't there. And if you look up at the Jumbotron to double check, it just wasn't there. And we got a really good hitter coming up next that had a heck of a night the first time we played these guys, and just a little bit of difficulty tonight. So what was your second question?
On the bunt, Zane threw in the right field, did you like him to eat that?
Yeah, it looked like it was going foul, but I'm also standing in the dugout spitting seeds into the ground. He's out there playing in front of 25,000 or whatever we got in there, and he's trying to make a play. And who knows, it may not have rolled foul. But then, again, to try and make a play. I mean, put it in your back pocket is easy to say if you're watching from home. But these kids are running around out there pouring their hearts out onto the field. That's why it's been so damn entertaining so far, if I can say that word.
Yeah. Jack, this will be our last question for Tony.
On that note, Coach, your teams in the last 3 to 4 years have played with such emotion and passion. I think it's contagious around the sport of college baseball. These games have been so entertaining this week. Can you kind of talk about the state of college baseball and maybe where your program has kind of played a role in a lot of the emotion and passion we see this week?
I appreciate you saying that more than you know. That means a lot. I think last year's team, kind of what I was going on a tangent about or ready to go on a tangent, was they got people talking about the sport. I mean, big leaguers, all kinds of people. And, again, part of it was they didn't like me or our players or anything like that, or we did some foolish things or we did some great things, but it got people talking. And we're not the only ones. I think these indoor facilities these kids train at, they're putting in more work. Media, whether it be social media or now all these games are covered All those things are elevating the play and the amount of passion these kids pour into this thing. And I think our sport, I'm prejudiced, but I think our sport more than any other collegiate sport has more momentum and is on a greater incline than any other. And this thing here has become an absolute party in Omaha. They do a good job of hosting it, but the trajectory is not going to slow down. And this thing had a lot of star power, maybe more star power than any other one at this. You guys would know better than I. So why can't next year have even more star power? I haven't said that. Hopefully Florida's not here. That big old first baseman, though, is probably be a good guy to have around here. We got a couple, too, though.
Tony, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
again.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's a friendly me and Sully talk today, so that's not a